Welcome to episode 392 of the 2 Minute Warning. Today I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers and determining whether or not they should release their quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. Big Ben, one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history. But before getting into that topic, question for the video: who is the all-time leading rusher in yards for the Pittsburgh Steelers? If you know the answer, comment below. If you do not, I will reveal the answer at the end, so make sure you stay tuned. But getting into this topic, in 2021 to the 2022 NFL season, Ben Roethlisberger is due for $41.3 million, and that kind of riles up a lot of controversy for the Pittsburgh Steelers and just teams around the league, and just in general, whether or not that's worth it for the Steelers to bring him back. Big Ben is definitely not the same Big Ben he used to be, where he's a gunslinger, could chuck it down the field, one of the biggest guys that could take hits, put up any kind of number of points, be very consistent. Now Big Ben, due to age, it happens to all quarterbacks. It's not his own fault. It's age itself, except for Tom Brady, of course. He doesn't have the arm he used to have. He can't take the beating like he was able to, and he's just not. As we know, Big Ben's work ethic is not there. I mean, his nickname's Big Ben because of his size, obviously, but because he's not willing to slim down. He's not worried about his nutrition, and his work ethic isn't there all about for film, for working out. He's relying on pure skill and raw talent, and it's worked out to an extent, of course. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He's had an amazing career with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but now, at the end of his career, it is definitely catching up and showing that his longevity is not going to be as long as he completely desires it to be. It's not going to be like a Tom Brady longevity. I do think this is a good chance. This is Big Ben's last year if they bring him back, but and the Steelers have announced they want to bring back Big Ben, and they are willing to, but a contract negotiation needs to be discussed. So if Big Ben is not willing to renegotiate from that $41 million, I do not see the Pittsburgh Steelers bring him back. I don't think they should if he's willing to negotiate. He's not willing to negotiate. Looking at their team, they do have talent. Even with Big Ben's contract, they'll still be able to afford some of their top guys, such as T.J. Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Joe Hayden, Devin Bush. Maybe they'll bring in J.J. Watt, and that'll be a very lethal defense. It is already. Bud Dupree is a big free agent on that defense for them that they kind of want to re-sign, though. Looking at the offense, the receiving core, and James Washington, Chase Claypool, JuJu Smith, he's going to be a free agent. Offensive line, the Pouncey brothers have announced their retirement, so they're losing their center. So that could maybe use a little bit of work, I guess. And then the running backfield, we know, is a mess. That needs to be addressed. Top priority this offseason, in my opinion. So if Big Ben is willing to go from $41 million to $20 million, which sounds like a big cut, but he's still making $20 million. He's Ben Roethlisberger. He has plenty of money. I think he should be willing to take that pay cut. And if not $20 million, at least $30 million. Save the team some kind of money. You see Tom Brady took a huge pay cut and allowed the team to afford talent all around, and therefore it resulted in them winning the Super Bowl. So Big Ben can look at the bigger picture and worry about a ring. I think he should take as big of a pay cut that he's willing to. I think he should be more worried about winning than money this last season of his career, more than likely. And if he does go down to $20 million, that will save a lot of cap space for the Steelers, 15 to 20 million to be exact. And therefore, on your defense, you could re-sign Bud Dupree, one of your top linebackers. You could have the money to sign J.J. Watt. You can be able to re-sign JuJu Smith. In my opinion, that's not a great idea. I'm not a big fan of JuJu Smith by any means, just because I think his raw skill is pretty solid, but similar to Big Ben, his work ethic isn't there. He's kind of a nutcase on TikTok outside of the field. He's just kind of a lot of drama for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's kind of even spread that into Chase Claypool, and he's becoming a little bit of a drama as well, not to the same extent. And I think if JuJu leaves, Chase Claypool will be just fine. But the two of them paired up aren't the best duo of being a clean and quiet football team by any means. So I think they should let JuJu Smith go. I don't think he's worth the money they're going to re-sign him for. To me, JuJu Smith is a number 2 receiver. He can't be your number 1 guy. Of course, he can be, but he's not going to be a great number 1 guy. I mean, he'll be in the wide receiver rankings. He'll either be your worst number 1 receiver or one of the best number 2 receivers in the league. Depends on which position you have him at. I think they should let him go and look at receivers in free agency in the NFL draft and see what you could build. To me, if Big Ben takes that pay cut, this team can be a Super Bowl team, because you'll have a quarterback that's definitely not the best by any means, and he's definitely dropped off, but it could be a Peyton Manning such scenario with the Denver Broncos, where the defense carried him and Big Ben was just more of a game manager than a gunslinger, because like I said, you'll have T.J. Watt, you'll have Devin Bush, you'll have Minka Fitzpatrick, you'll have Joe Hayden, you can maybe re-sign Bud Dupree, you can maybe get J.J. Watt, and then on the offense, you can maybe draft Najee Harris or Travis Etienne or Trey Sermon, one of the top running backs coming in this NFL draft to fix that backfield. Or if not, look at NFL free agency. There's Todd Gurley. Maybe there's a Le'Veon Bell reunion. There's Leonard Fournette, playoff Lenny. There's receivers in free agency, Allen Robinson, Corey Davis. A lot of guys you could replace with JuJu Smith. Maybe if you look at the draft, trade up and get Kyle Pitts, pick up Jalen Waddle, pick up Kadarius Toney. There's a lot of pieces this Steelers team can really add to this team and become a Super Bowl caliber team where Big Ben doesn't have to be a gunslinger that throws for 400, 500 yards a game, 3-4 touchdowns. He's just more of a game manager, easy 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, be conservative. Like I said, just don't turn over the ball, and he's doing his job. The defense and the backfield and the receivers will be able to create plays themselves, and Big Ben doesn't have to be the same prime Big Ben he used to be where he's forced to throw the ball down the field. So to me, if you draft a running back, you could keep the defense and you could replace JuJu Smith, and Big Ben's willing to take this pay cut. This Steelers team could be very lethal, but if he's not willing to negotiate, to me, you release him, you eat the $20 million cap, and you trade for Sam Darnold, and then you have a similar situation. You have a good quarterback that has raw skill, and then you surround him with a good defense. You sign him with a rookie running back, you sign him with a wide receiver, whatever they want to do. Fill the couple gaps they have in this offense, in the backfield, in the receiving core depth. And this team will be fine with most quarterbacks, I think, is if you get rid of Big Ben, you throw in Sam Darnold, they'll be fine. You get Jameis Winston, you'll be okay. Cam Newton, a lot of options if they decide to move off Big Ben. If he's not willing to negotiate, I definitely think they should. But if they are willing to keep him and he's willing to renegotiate, I do think the Pittsburgh Steelers could be a great team, in my opinion. Yes, he's dropped off, and yes, his work ethic is not the greatest, but if he's cheap on the market, he's worth it at that point. But $40 million, not even close to being worth it. That's Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson status. Big Ben used to be up there, but not even close no longer, and therefore I don't think they should keep him if he is unwilling to negotiate. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is Big Ben worthy of $41 million? And if he's willing to negotiate, how far can this team go? But that is it for the video. For the question for the video, the all-time leading rusher for the Pittsburgh Steelers in yards is, of course, Franco Harris. Thanks for watching, guys. 2-minute warning.